Alright, so we are back for another video, and today we're going to be checking out the Earfun Air S. This is the first ANC from Earfun that we are checking out. $70 here gets you an Earfun with an ANC, and from what I've listened to so far from Earfun, they do tune their stuff really nicely. For enthusiasts, it's kind of nice. But we're checking out how this compares to the other Earfun that we are checking out. Is this worth it? We are going to find out in this video. Earfun and then Bluetooth 5.2, of course, nice to see in 2022. Active noise cancellation Earfun audio app, which is nice. aptX support as well. Multi-point connection, QCC Qualcomm chip, aptX support, 10mm dynamic driver, and it says dual composite driver here, so maybe a bit different driver compared to your usual 4x microphone, noise cancellation, IPX5 sweat and water resistant. You're getting that Earfun USB cable. You're getting additional sets of tips as well, and as you guys can see, it's different looking tip. And this is the TWS itself, and from the get-go, again, much like the previous Earfun that we have checked, this has some weight to it, so feels really good in the hand here. So yeah, the build quality for the $70 price range is really good. Actually, this maybe in the bigger side of things. This is not the smallest TWS that I've seen. All right, so that is what you are getting inside, and you're getting the stem design as well. So actually, the opening and closing for me feels really good. In the hand, has some weight to it. So moving to the lobes itself, you're getting that maybe two-tone design. You're getting that silver and black color there, and the silver as well. The color that they chose looks really good for me. It's kind of like gunmetal color, which definitely looks nice. Of course, you're getting that matte black color at the side here, and you're getting that pod design. So as you guys can see, the tips, it's not that deep. This might be still quite comfortable to wear because it's not that deep of an insertion. But yeah, typical stem design here. I would say quite a safe shape here overall. So this is what it looks like on the ear. And actually, of course, that stem design actually makes it maybe a bit more stable to wear on the ear. It's not that big as well. Isolation without the ANC is actually not that good. So you can still hear most of my voice here. Maybe because of that, maybe lighter insertion to the ear. Comfort is actually very good here because it's actually quite light for me on the ear. And it's snug enough, but not super snug that it can be maybe uncomfortable for a long listening session. So actually for me, you can use this for some maybe minor extraneous activities, for some exercising. So I would say for the build quality, it is still very solid for me, so much like the older Earfun. Those are really nicely built as well. This is also in the same boat as that. In terms of noise cancellation, this has 3 modes. You have ambient mode, you have normal mode, and also you have ANC mode. And here in the ANC mode, actually it works quite well. This is not the suffocating type of ANC. And going to ambient mode works quite well as well. So I would say it's still not as clear as your maybe more expensive pairs, but for this price range, it's already very prominent. And going to the normal mode, actually it still blocks quite a bit of noise there, but not that much. For me, maybe the ANC mode is my top pick in the 3 modes that is mentioned. So let's check out the tuning first. So as you guys can see, so you are getting that maybe a tuning that reminds me of the Blonde Mini in a way. So you're getting that V type of shape. Some 7K in the mix, some 12K as well, but the 12K is a bit less compared to what you're getting with the 6K here. And of course, you're getting that quite big rise in the sub-bass region, and of course the mids are recessed here, so V-shaped kind of sound. So I'm expecting more of a fun type of signature here, more of a bassy fun signature. And of course, having that 12K, you're still getting that ample shine on top. But of course, let's listen to some tunes. Let's start out with some I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton. So it's definitely more of a fun type of listen to the ear. Of course, the mids are recessed in the mix, but you're getting that ample shine for me on top, and you're getting actually sizable bass at the bottom. But the first impressions here, I would have to say the bass here is a bit more toned down compared to some other TWSs that I've listened to. So compared to maybe some Sabbats or Sound Peats that I've listened to in the channel, the bass here is a bit more toned down. So the presentation is also in the smoother side of presentation. But again, compared to some Sabbats, the presentation here is maybe a touch cleaner in the overall presentation. So maybe the driver that they put here makes the presentation maybe a touch cleaner, a bit better separation for me in the overall listen here. So going to some Chunky by Bruno Mars, I'm going to some bass here. So the sub bass really goes deep for me in the mix, and still quite substantial for me in the mix here. This is not a bass like IEM. Actually, really impactful bass for me here. Really percussive bass for me in the presentation. Has some mid-bass bleed as well, but I would say not that much compared to some other maybe TWS that I've checked. So actually maybe the bass here reminds me of a TFZ type of bass. But I would say yes, this is still a fun bass on the ear. Still for bass heads, you can survive with this. This is not gonna be your reference pair. This is not gonna be maybe your monitoring pair. So this is definitely some bass for some fun. Going to some September by Earth, Wind and Fire, and going to some vocals. So again, the vocals are quite recessed for me in the mix. This is a V type of shape to the ear. So the vocals actually is in the cleaner side of presentation. This is not gonna be your lush, smooth type of vocal. So in the mix, the positioning of course is recessed for me in the mix. But I would have to say, the presentation is still quite clear for me in the mix. It's in the brighter side of presentation. But again, this is not the most revealing vocal that you can listen to. But maybe because of that, maybe 5K elevation, the presentation is still quite bright for me to listen to. Still quite clear for me to listen to. This is not an overly maybe aggressive presentation. Actually, because of that, I don't see any shoutiness for me inside. Let us try some treble, some Jumping In by Joe Satriani. Going to this track, I would say the treble is not the strength of this IEM. There's some thinness for me in the cymbals here. There's some splashiness for me in the cymbals that it can maybe sound unnatural for me to listen to. Like here, It's My Life by Bon Jovi, so the cymbals a bit too thin for my liking. So definitely yes, the treble not the best here. This is not gonna be for treble heads. Going to some soundstage, it's fair, above average for me, but not the biggest that I've heard. Separation, a bit better than some maybe dynamic drivers, a bit better than your Sabbats, maybe some sound beats as well. Going to some micro detail, there's a touch of micro detail here, maybe a bit better than some other dynamic drivers that I've checked. But yeah, still, this won't beat out your maybe multi-driver counterparts. Going to some tonality, actually pretty good here, quite natural for me to listen to. So if not, maybe just one weakness is the top end, maybe has some grittiness for me in the presentation. Still not the most accurate top here. When listening to some TWSs. So that is my lesson with the Air S. So what do I think of it? So first, for the build quality, really nice here. I would say for the $70 price range, one of the best ones that I've listened to. I'm going to some ANC, good in terms of the overall presentation, and going to the tuning as well. So actually quite nicely tuned for me. The tuning reminds me of some other IEMs, more enthusiast IEMs, like maybe a Blonde or TFZ kind of tuning. So this is one of the few of this tuning that's maybe nearing to an IEM that I have seen in the channel. But of course, this is for those who's looking for some fun in their lives. The bass here is quite prominent in the mix. You're getting that double horns on top here, but for me, the highlight here is the bass and the mids. If you're coming from, IEMs, the listen here might be really familiar to you in the overall listen. So it's a bit more enthusiast, maybe type of listening in that regard. But of course, in the other side of things, maybe the bass here still can be too much for some people. If you like more of neutral signatures, you might like the Moontrops or the Tangems as well. In the channel, I do have reviews for that, so check that one out. But of course, if you're into that fun and bass and vocal clarity, this definitely should be in your short list, and that is goes to me as recommended here in this channel. Have you owned an Earfun product? What do you think of them? Did they perform nicely for you? Of course, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next zpolt review. Bye bye.